I've interviewed many movie stars and actors who have specifically mentioned that they've lost movie roles because of their Instagram followers. You know, they look at their Instagram followers and it's 7,000. Like, no, sorry, you're qualified for the role. You're a fantastic actor, but we want somebody that can push our movie, so they lose the role. Yes. So you see people are desperately trying to do content and do as many things as they can do to build their page, so that when they have another gig, yes, they buy followers and stuff. So that's where we are at right now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another beautiful episode of Flow with Joy. And I'm your great host, Joy Adakumalizo. Any other one is a counterfeit. Ask Ojoele Basuta. Did I get that right? Please kindly complete the lyrics yourself. I don't want to. I don't want to mess up the lyrics. Yes. I have a great person with me on today's show. This person, whenever you enter a room and you're trying to look for someone that matches your energy, someone that has a good vibe, this person is one of them. He's always in positive energy. I've never ever seen him with a negative vibe. Yes, for the short period of time I've known him. And yes, this person is an esteemed journalist, uncovering profound truth. He's also an idealist that is always trying to challenge societal norms. And also, he's a great producer. This producer that I mean is of different aspects. In the aspect of crafting compelling narratives, and also he's a great and dynamic radio rock star. Please welcome Augustus Ayibe. How are you doing today?
You should be
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
You should be my.
Oh God.
You should be my hype woman.
Do you mean that?
Yeah, you should be my hype woman. That's really nice. I think that's the most the most interesting what's the word now, announcement I've ever gotten, or the most interesting introduction rather I've ever gotten in a long time. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But apart from the hype stuff that you're saying, you deserve that.
Thank you.
More and more.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome, and we're happy to have you on today's show.
Happy to be here.
How are you doing today?
Hungry, but you know.
Why did you say hungry? Because to me, you're not looking hungry.
No, I am
you look
actually.
Fresh.
No.
Put together.
I am
looking good. By the way.
I'm hungry. I need food. You know, obviously I think a lot of people know that I'm a foodie and I'm a glutton. So obviously, maybe next time I'm coming, if you serve me turkey apomo, let me eat that one first before we continue.
So I love it.
We can go from there.
TikTok, we all know it has transformed us in this discovery of movies and also that of music, right? And today we are going to be talking about TikTok role in entertainment trends. I'll go again. TikTok role in entertainment trends. What do you think about TikTok role in entertainment trends, Kuchi?
I think TikTok is an amazing app. I think the idea that ByteDance, which is the parent company for TikTok, had in the first place was amazing. But I'm not sure they had any idea that it would be as hugely loved as it is right now. There's so many people who are on TikTok. It is by far the most used app in the world. In fact, I think during the period where there was speculation that TikTok was going to be banned in the US, you know, the stats started to show, and it was one of the fastest downloadable app in the US. You know, people forget that before TikTok, ByteDance had made Musical.ly. It was strictly for music. I don't know if anybody remembers Musical.ly before it's metamorphosed into TikTok that it is now. Of course, it has a different name in China, which is the country where the parent company is situated. But yeah, TikTok is first off an amazing app. TikTok is a tool in many sectors, in business, in health, and obviously in entertainment as well. And it's very dynamic. And I feel like it is very essential. Just like most apps, you can always find TikTok to be probably for most people the number one source of entertainment if they want to kill boredom, if they want to get rid of boredom. I think that's the best word to use. You can always find TikTok if you want to introduce new people to your content. Say, for example, you're an aspiring actor. You want to introduce yourself and you want to put up a very engaging monologue. TikTok is the app to use. If you're an up and coming musician, you want to show the world your talent. TikTok is the app to use. A number of people have tried to use TikTok to be famous. During COVID, Connor Price, I'm sure you know who Connor Price is. He used to be a movie star, starred in so many movies and TV shows. He was in the popular TV show Supernatural. He was shot in that one. But during COVID, his acting gig slowed down, as did for many actors. So he resorted to TikTok to start up a passion he's always had, which was music. His wife quit her job to be his manager. And so he started to make skits and content on TikTok. One of the content was the spinning globe, where it would spin, you know, a miniature version of a globe, and whatever spots his finger stops at the end of the spin, he would find an artist from that country and do a song with the artist. So he could just literally spin now, and he would go to Venezuela, and he would do a song with an artist in Venezuela. He could spin again, and he would go to Panama, and he would do a song with somebody from Panama. So now he's got over 1 billion streams, over 1 billion. I don't think you understand the gravity of that, to have over 1 billion streams. Another person who has 1 billion streams is Thames, over 1 billion streams. She's a two-time Grammy winner. Connor Price right now doesn't have a Grammy, but that's just to tell you the extent to which TikTok, when used, the right way, can be a fantastic tool for entertainment. And so, to answer your question,
Yes, you have.
yes, yes.
So now, also, do you think TikTok is controlling the entertainment industry, or is ensuring that they go higher, or is shaping the entertainment industry?
I think the better term to use would be shaping the entertainment industry, because again, like I said before, it's a tool, and with most tools, you use it to craft your way into what you think is best for you. It's the same way people are using AI now, and people say, "Oh, AI is going to take your jobs," but then people who are smarter realize that AI is just a tool that they use to actualize their dreams, and TikTok is a tool as well. I think, yeah, like I said before, it's a tool, it's a useful tool. It is not controlling any industry. What it's doing is providing reach. I think that's the number one thing that TikTok does. It provides reach. And the algorithm for TikTok is made in such a way that if you have good content, people will see it. And when people see it instantaneously, like it or not, just the snap of a finger, you could become really famous. And I don't think people grasp the importance or the extent to which um, the fame that TikTok gives. For example, I've seen people who are really sad when they post videos on TikTok and they get 3,000 views, they get 5,000 views, and they're unhappy. They want to get 100,000. They want to get, 1 million. They want to get, okay, 50,000. And those are really enviable numbers. But if we're being honest, picture a stadium, right? Stadium that is a 5,000 capacity stadium. Imagine that stadium filled up. That is the number of people that will potentially look at your content when 5,000 people view your content. People just see 5,000 now, and we abuse the idea of 5,000 people viewing our content. That's a lot of people, you know? Okay, do the plus and minus and say, okay, there are some bots here, there are some people watching multiple times. At the end of the day, maybe you get like 2,500 people view your content. That's a lot. That's really a lot. And I think, again, If TikTok is going to provide you that reach, I think it's I think TikTok is very selfless with reach and views. Monetization is a different ballgame altogether, but yes, it does provide you
That's
reach.
where people are always.
Yeah, and it helps to shape any industry or sector. So if you're in the health sector, you want people to know about what you do as a dentist, as an ophthalmologist, as a dermatologist, as a pediatrician. As long as you put out content regarding your niche, TikTok will position you to the audience that it matters to. If you're a gamer and you want to reach a content, reach an audience that is into gaming, you know, if you know the right things to say and the hashtags to use, TikTok will position you with your gaming audience. If you are in media, for example, it's the same. So yes, I think it does more to shape as opposed to control. Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. So, do you think the filmmakers and also the artists can survive without TikTok?
Filmmakers and artists surviving without TikTok, they survived before TikTok. They can survive without TikTok.
Why?
However, I think it will be such a monumental shift. There will be the balance would start to it will be uneven, I think, because before TikTok, obviously, filmmakers survived, musicians survived. But TikTok has done something so tremendous now that you can some random person can post your song on their page with just 200 followers, and that person will make that song blow. That is the power of TikTok. That is how amazing TikTok is. TikTok has that ability to do that. So sorry, what was the question again?
Do you think the filmmakers and the artists can survive without TikTok?
Yes. So if that can happen just because somebody randomly posts your content, I feel like now people already understand the value of TikTok. It will be hard. It's just like what you're saying is almost in tandem with can filmmakers and entertainers survive without social media? Because TikTok is probably a very pivotal part of social media. So they might be able to survive without TikTok if there are the other platforms out there. If there's Instagram and there's YouTube and the likes. But will it affect them? Yes, it will. Don't forget that TikTok was almost banned again in the US.
Mhm.
They had to rescind the ban.
Yeah.
If you read up on the Oxford survey, if I'm not mistaken, TikTok currently provides 24 billion US dollars to the US economy. The US economy alone.
Alone.
Alone, the US economy alone. TikTok currently in the US provides 28 million jobs because there are about 7.8 million businesses using TikTok. So invariably, in a way, it's providing 28 million jobs in the US alone. So it's going to be hard. They might be able to survive without TikTok if there are the other social media platforms still present, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be a monumental shift. It potentially would affect their marketing strategy, but I think it just might be possible. Yeah.
So, is TikTok making legends?
TikTok making legends. Well, again, I gave the example of Conor Price. I don't know what the future holds for Conor Price, but if he turns out to be a multi-platinum selling artist, a multiple winning Grammy artist, if he even goes back to acting and starts to, act and wins an Oscar, you could invariably say TikTok birth his music career. What happens after could probably be credited to TikTok as well. But right now, I can't say without a shadow of a doubt that TikTok is making legends. TikTok probably helps legends to stay legends, but making legends, I don't think TikTok is doing that right now. you know. Maybe setting up the foundation, yes, but making legends, that's a tough sell, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Okay, so do you think artists are creating for fans or they are just doing it for TikTok trends?
You're talking about musicians, right?
Yes,
Mm. Um,
and actors included too.
I feel like anybody who's on TikTok right now has a purpose.
Okay.
If you're on TikTok as a musician, invariably you want your song to be heard by multiple people. I think that's the end goal. You could get fame, but the thing is, if you don't put out content consistently, that fame could wither away. Um, let's not forget that the comedian or skit maker Iguchi Bros. That I knew him first from TikTok before
Hmm.
he went on into Instagram, and eventually I think I had him as a guest on Cool FM. Um, he started off from TikTok. Unfortunately, I think there's been a like sort of like a lapse or a break in his content. Maybe he went to school, maybe he went to took a break or whatever. But obviously, because it's not putting out content, it has reduced the number of times people talk about him. I mean, he grew so famous that Burna Boy even you know tweeted about him one time. Um, so I think at the end of the day, people put out content on TikTok for a particular reason, not just for cruise, but because they have an end goal, which probably is to have their songs known. For example, I was on. I'm not my niche, or sorry, my genre, my favorite genre of music is hip hop, and then R&B. There's a bit of soul as well. But once in every blue moon, I find myself listening to a gospel music. Maybe if it's a fusion of gospel and hip hop or whatever. But this one was just a regular gospel song, and I think it was I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram. I can't remember. But I saw this. What's the name of the song now? I think Babe,
Surround
surround
me
like
like
a shield.
yeah.
I think I woke up to use the restroom and I was on Instagram and just randomly or TikTok and randomly I just stumbled on the I think the a cappella version or maybe the live studio performance. It was even the twin brother who was doing the song, not the original
Okay.
singer. So his twin brother was doing the song
Mhm.
and it just blew me away. That song is
You're in
so
spirit.
beautiful. I was just blown away. It was wonderful. And because of that, instantaneously, I took my phone and I streamed the song on Spotify. And you can
Oh,
tell the difference with the recorded version and the live studio version, the live on stage version.
mhm.
And I preferred the one on stage because there was just something that was just about it. It was beautiful, it was moving,
It was
it was
captivating.
captivating, you know. And I tell you that the page that posted that content was glitched, right? I think it was
Mhm.
glitched, and they posted on TikTok, on Instagram, and the likes. For what reason? For more people to get to see
Yes.
this song, and if not because it was on social media, I guarantee you, I probably would never have listened to that song. I probably would never have cared about that song. I probably would not
I
have it
think
in
I
my
know where
head.
you're coming from.
Yeah.
In respect whereby if one produces a content,
Mm.
right, they should have a short videos on TikTok,
Exactly.
on
Exactly.
Instagram, pardon me, on
Mm.
Facebook and all other social media platforms to be able to create more awareness for people to go and watch the full thing
Yes,
on
exactly.
YouTube
Uh
or
huh.
on others.
So, in my own case, I just stumbled
You
on the
had no
video. I
ideas.
had no idea of the song. I'd never heard it before. Maybe I heard it
Yes.
in passing, but I wasn't paying attention. But that performance was captivating. I heard it on TikTok or Instagram or both. I can't remember. And then I went to stream on Spotify. So the guy also collaborated with the platform he was on.
Mm-hmm.
For what reason? For people to get to see him,
Yes.
that he's a
Yes.
musician, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it works most times. If you take a look at Spotify and you see the most streamed podcast, mostly churches, the most streamed the
You mean
most
honest?
no church podcasts have the most streams on Spotify.
Okay.
Um, on YouTube,
Mhm.
10 most viewed or the 10 highest earners from Nigeria are all clergymen or men of God or people that
Yes,
minister,
yes.
you know. But the one thing they consistently do is to cut bits and pieces of their
Mm-hmm.
content and put on TikTok and put on Instagram so that people can go and watch, and it takes them over to
Mm-hmm.
the
To
long
see the
form
full
content,
thing.
which is on YouTube. And yeah, so I don't think people, maybe there some people do it for just for the fun of it, but even those people know that at the end of the day they want to have clicks, they want to have engagement, they want people to go on their page and like it. So there's always an end goal as to whatever you want to do on TikTok, and TikTok is leveraging on that, and that is why I think the app is so amazing.
Hmm. Interesting. So if TikTok disappears today,
Mm.
what happens to the TikTok viral stars?
They disappear as well. But to be honest, I feel like if you understand the landscape of social media now, you will be well versed in putting your content in so many other platforms besides TikTok. Yes, TikTok probably is where you have your. I have my most followers on TikTok. I have 76,000 followers on TikTok. It doesn't mean I don't have an Instagram account. I have an Instagram account. I have a X account, formerly Twitter. I have a YouTube account, and I think it will be foolhardy
You
of
don't
me.
have Facebook,
I do have Facebook,
so
obviously.
you're not active.
I am. Well, not as much as I would like, but understanding that there's monetization now on Facebook, I go there more frequently than I was doing before.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I was saying, it would be foolhardy of me to just have a TikTok account. And um, if it crashes, then what happens then? Well, the likelihood of that happening is very slim, you know. Likelihood of TikTok crashing because the platform that has crashed the most has been Meta. Meta has crashed in 2022. Meta has crashed in 2024, and potentially will crash even 2025. 2022 when it crashed, Instagram was down. Was it 2022 or 2021? I think late 2021 and also 2022. Instagram was down. WhatsApp was down. Uh, yes, Instagram was down. WhatsApp was down. So everybody was running to Telegram and TikTok. In fact, I was communicating only on TikTok that period because I couldn't communicate on Facebook, but I could communicate on Instagram or WhatsApp. They were down for a long period of time. So um, the possibility of TikTok being down is there, but it is slim because for the past couple of years they haven't crashed. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Your country ban it? Yes, your country can ban it.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but crashing
That probably.
is yes.
Do you think TikTok promotes real talent or just trends?
Or just what?
Or just trends?
Trends. Um, I think it's a mix of both. I feel like, if you want to trend, TikTok can help you trend. If you have your talent, it may not be the first video you post or the second video, even the 10th video you post, but eventually people will notice, you know. So I think TikTok promotes both. It just depends on what you serve it, you know. TikTok is there for you. If you dish to TikTok, TikTok will give you an output that is commensurate with what you're giving it. So there are people who as for example, they are fantastic. What's the word now? Artists. They draw a lot, and it's really beautiful. And every time they post, it gets maximum 64 views.
Yes. More
But
than that.
but when they are semi-clad, you know, on social media other platforms, they'll get more views, and they're like, should I show myself in this outfit and forget this content? Because anytime I post myself wearing this, people give me views. But when I do this, people don't look at my views. So it just depends. On the other hand, there are people who that's what they just do. They just post videos of them wearing beautiful outfits and nice outfits or revealing outfits, and they get promoted on that platform. So I think it's a mix of both. Really, it's not set in stone. It just depends on what the algorithm favors. And if algorithm favors you talking about food, by all means, stay with food. If algorithm favors you talking about games, stay with games. If algorithm favors you doing lifestyle, that's your niche.
That's why you have to have a particular niche before starting content creation.
Well, now it's advisable. Before, when people were just starting, they could experiment and find where they're comfortable at. I have 3 TikTok pages. One is for my personal life and lifestyle. The other is for when I'm doing radio. The third Now it's probably going to be for gaming. So I think it's just on your page. I think what is safe to do is find the one that's giving you views and can potentially be what will build your profile and stay with it. That's as long as it's not against the TikTok guidelines. If not, they'll take your page down.
Just made mention of games. Why do you love games?
I don't. I mean, I've always loved games since I was a little boy. I've been fascinated by video games when it was handheld. There was this game when I was growing up that there would be like two fish, and you put the rings.
Yes, you have to press.
The water will be.
Yeah,
I loved it. My mom bought that for me when I was young, and then there's another one where it was Tetris. It will be you arrange like a building. Anytime I had that too. My mom bought that for me. I remember one time I kept begging and she didn't want to buy it. I had to kneel down and she said the only reason she was buying for me because I knelt down that day before she left the house. I had that too. Eventually, my dad stubbornly bought my brother and myself Family Com. There's a game. There's an 8-bit game called Family. I think Family Com. That's what they call it. It got for us. Eventually, we got a 16 gig because we got cartridges, and from there, also there was a time where there were also games inbuilt in DVD players. So if you had like an audio DVD or a DVD rather, if it was on screensaver mode, there's a way you connect pads to it and you could play games.
Wow.
I found out much later in life. You know, then I think when I turned 6, how old was I then? I think I was like 16, 17 when I got my first PlayStation. And then 3 years later, I got PlayStation 2. A couple years after, I got PlayStation 3. Um, Unfortunately, I never bought PlayStation 4, but now I have a PlayStation 5. And so I've just been fascinated with video games or games generally. Like I love games that challenge me, and it's always like a quest. So if I can play and I can win, exactly. And maybe that's why I'm solution oriented, because if we're having a conversation now and it's a meeting and there's so many people with different ideas and they're arguing and going back and forth, I'm stressed. Why people complaining, or even to make it even worse when you're shouting or yelling? I can't deal with that. What is the solution going forward? That is how my brain works. So maybe also it's in tandem with the fact that I love games, and games are about solving problems, so move to the next level. So I guess that's my fascination.
Are movies now forced to create TikTok movements?
I would say yes, but not just TikTok. Again, I think not just TikTok. Now, I've interviewed many movie stars and actors who have specifically mentioned that they've lost movie roles because of their Instagram followers. They look at their Instagram followers and it's 7,000. Like, no, sorry, you're qualified for the role. You're a fantastic actor, but we want somebody that can push our movie, so they lose the role.
Promote.
Yes. Um, so you see people are desperately trying to do content and do as many things as they can do to build their page, so that when they have another gig, yes, they buy followers and stuff. So that's where we are at right now. TikTok is important as is many other social media platforms. So filmmakers definitely will explore the option of TikTok before they release a movie. Record labels, music record labels, would explore TikTok and other social media platforms while they release a song. They would employ influencers or activate influencers, micro influencers, macro influencers to push a song when they release a song, even if they know the artist is fantastic. That is why there are so many songs coming out now that almost all of them have dance videos. You know, there's a reason. There's a reason why there's that, because once you do that challenge on TikTok and it goes viral, everybody's doing it. Now, why are they doing it? The song is playing on the background. It's TikTok,
and everyone will be vibing to it.
Everybody's gonna do it. So that's the importance of social media, and specifically TikTok in this case.
There was a lady, just this challenge you made mention of. There was a lady I came across a video online, and there's an elderly woman. What you just did now?
Yeah, she was trying to do that. Yeah,
in the market.
Place,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's, I was like,
It's the
an
power.
elderly woman at her age.
Mm.
If approximately, I think she should be
There's
around
there's
70.
no restriction to having fun. So if she wants to have fun at 75,
She
80,
was so, and she
that's
was so
fine.
serious, giving the moves. And the funny
Mm.
part, she can even dance more than me.
A lot of people can dance more than me too, so don't sweat it.
We'll call you a lazy dancer.
Is that what we're calling it?
We can
I'm a
call you a
horrible
lazy
dancer.
dancer.
I'm a horrible dancer. Lazy is even nice. I'm a horrible dancer.
Okay, it's been nice having a lot of conversations with you.
Thank you
I
so
learned a
much.
lot along the line.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we go, what are your favorite hobbies?
I mean, I think you can even guess the first
Oh,
one,
yeah,
video games.
video games, yes.
Um, I think
Listening to songs, is that
video
part of it?
games. Well, yeah, it depends on the songs though. I wouldn't say it's a hobby because I think it's just part of life that I listen to songs. By virtue of my work, I listen to songs every day. In my free time, I listen to songs every day as well. I'm obsessed with Billie Eilish songs. I love Eminem as well. Um, um, I love music, but I think my hobbies would be playing games,
Movies,
movies, watching movies. But again, I think when it comes to music and movies, I'm very specific.
spectacle.
Yeah, I'm very specific. You know, for music, it has to sound a certain type of way. If it's hip hop, okay, it has to be like this kind of hip hop. If it's R&B or soul, it has to be this type. You know, some people even call my genre depressive music because when you hear the music, it's like you're feeling sad. Same for movies. If it's a movie, my favorite genre is action comedy. So it's action and comedy together. You know, however, there are times where it's politics and I just absolutely love it. Sometimes it is family drama. There's just I saw one family drama on Netflix a couple of days ago. Adolescence, beautiful, limited series, 4 episodes. Um, TV show, Adolescence, amazing. And the plot twist is amazing, and you would never expect how it ends. And that's how I love
Suspense.
TV shows to be, yeah, suspense and all of that. And sometimes you won't know, but it's the realism of it, like real life. It's relatable, and that's what I like to do. So in my spare time, I just watch movies, play video games, and eat.
Fully, as you said
Yes,
earlier.
exactly.
So, you know, you've heard of this movie that is actually trending, or that has been trending for a while.
Mm.
Can you tell us the name of the movie?
There's so many movies trending. I just mentioned one,
It's a
Adolescence,
Nigerian movie.
a Nigerian movie trending. Is it that Achalugo?
I wanted you to say, I wanted to know how you pronounce it actually. And you actually did well.
I just did a video of that with that content.
Seriously,
If it's on my Instagram page, check it.
on Cool FM or on your page.
Okay, Call FM collaborated with me, but it's on my page on Instagram. And maybe I should even post it on TikTok as well. You know, I just did a let's.
So are you the Odogu Pararan?
I was the Odogu, yes.
Who's the Ashalugo now?
So yeah, you need to watch it.
Every word.
It was so yes, that's
What
that.
did you learn from that movie?
I haven't seen the movie. I just that's the beauty of TikTok. I only saw the trend, and I liked the trend. It was catchy and interesting, and I jumped on it. I haven't seen the movie.
So with this short clip you saw on
It was.
what did you learn from there?
That's the thing. Like my entire purpose of seeing that clip was just to have fun with it. I not sat down to digest what the clip is about. However, I think just off of the top of my head, I can tell that um, something was given to the man, and it led him to promise that he was going to marry the girl, and so people are playing with it in different ways. Some people are receiving food and saying that "Look, I'm going to marry. Some people are getting money and they're telling their partner, I'm going to marry you.
Challenge of that.
Yes. So for me, obviously, because I love food, I use food as my own, so
I'll have to go and see that. I'll check
you
it out.
should, you should.
I will.
By the way, this is on YouTube, right? Or on
You're on YouTube. You can tell them your TikTok platform so that they will definitely ask you about it.
Yeah, so my TikTok is, and most of my, so I don't want to give my TikTok now because I have multiple TikTok accounts. So if you just see one, you might see my face somewhere else and you're confused. So what I would say is,
so you have 3.
Actually, I have 3.
So the specific one where you uploaded.
I've not even uploaded on TikTok yet. It's just on Instagram for now. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll give my Instagram and my YouTube. My Instagram is G Radio Rockstar. G, that's the letter G as in goat or great, radio, and rockstar together. That's for Instagram. I also have an account on TikTok with the same username, but I'm more concerned about YouTube because I want people to subscribe. So it's Augustus Aigbe, Augustus
Come again with your pronunciation of this one.
Augustus Aigbe.
Igbe,
Yes, Aigbe. Yes, Be.
Augustus,
Augustus
Augustus,
Aigbe.
Igbe. Good.
Yes.
Learn that.
So there you have it.
Interesting. So, do you have any advice for our young youth that wants to be a content creator? Because one thing that I want to say, right, all in the name of content creation, people
Mm,
are doing what they're not supposed to do in some ways, and people are also using the opportunity to grow and
mm,
also expand themselves and also ensure that they are doing the right thing. But some
mm.
other people are not doing the right thing. So, would you want to address that? You know where I'm
Um,
going to.
I feel like it's not again. This is not specific to TikTok alone. It's on different other platforms.
Yes.
I feel like unfortunately, social media has its cons as well as pros, and the con for most people now is they have gotten to the point where they are getting addicted to the clicks, to the engagements, where you wake up, you do a post, you're used to getting 1,000 views and maybe 500 likes. Now your likes are dwindled. Your likes are now going to 100. For people who are brands, it's worrisome because as the metric shows that your numbers are coming down, they're declining. Invariably, it means that your insight is not doing enough. And when you show it to brands who want to patronize you, it could affect your business. So you have to come up with more strategic and smart ways to build it up again. Unfortunately, for people who are not brands, who are just regular people, who have become addicted to seeing the engagement and clicks, they start to do so many things that I would say are not logical. For example, in 2022, when Joe Boy released Alcohol, was it Alcohol or Seep? I'm not quite sure the title of the song.
Oh, yeah.
And it started off by people just making video about taking a glass of champagne or whatever. And then it just spiraled out of control where people were jumping into gutters. People were pouring palm oil on their body. And the only reason we are doing that was they wanted to get more views than the other people who had posted. So if you posted that you drank alcohol and you acted like you were drunk and you got 1 million views, I'm going to post that I was so drunk I fell into the gutter. And people were like, oh, more people will watch it, 2 million views. Oh, you guys are doing that. I can't jump into the gutter. What I'll do is I'll be in my house with a pour palm oil on my body. 4 million views. Joe Boy had to come out and say, I love everybody who loves me and supports this music, but stop. It's becoming too much. Those are the cons of social media, of TikTok. You know, I think people should learn where to draw the line. In the US, there are places where you are banned from making content, and not just because they want to be difficult, but because so many people have died. There are videos of which have been taken off of social media now, but if you check long enough, you may see it of content creators who stick their head out of a car trying to make content, recording, and then they get hit by another car. Content creators who the content they're trying to make is they're running on the streets and they don't even take note of the other car coming. They don't mind and they get knocked down. Content creators, there's been a one time I mentioned on the radio where a young child um, got electrocuted and
Yes,
the
I heard of
the
that.
authorities were investigating because they wanted to find out if it was a trend because he put the ends of a wire inside his mouth
Yes.
and he got electrocuted. And they were like, why would you want to do that? Was this from a trend? So it can be very dastardly at times. It can be very, the end results can be very, very disastrous. So I think people should know where to draw the line. Adults who have kids who are on social media should be sure that the kids get to a certain age before they join social media. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter how many times they cry. I think limits their time on social media. They can have smartphones, but they
limit to that.
Yeah, their use of social media should either be limited or completely non-existent. There are so many celebrities whose kids do not have social media accounts, and rightly so. So if you can do that, that's fine. But if you're already a young adult or you're a teen and you're already on social media, I think understand that what you're doing, if you've already been advised that it is too much, it is because it is too much. If people are saying what you're doing is too much, you're taking such a huge risk, I think it's too much. In fact, if it goes against the guidelines that has been stipulated by TikTok or any of the social media platforms, just are there. I think that's the best I can say for now. Because no matter how much you drum it into people, if they're going to do what they're going to do at the end of the day. So
That
yes.
was a very interesting answer. So everyone, we've come to the end of today's show.